Alright guys, you already know what this is. More Days Gone Remaster. So this is gonna be the only video for today. Um, just gonna try to do at least one a day. There will not be one Thursday. That's Thunderbolts Day. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get this to work. Last time I fast traveled here, I slept everything, and Manny would not give me fuel. There we go. Finally, he gives me fuel.
Thanks, man.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I guess I needed to close the game and restart. So we have the fuel now. Let's go on to our location. Let's pull up the map. I was assuming it did glitch. It did not work before. Now we're gonna select the mission like this so it tracks. And we needed that gas so we can make all the way over to our location. I want to grab this collectible as well. Because it's a long drive. You could raise it up to 15. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna do that now. I think today is the best spot to do this, because if I try to do this, well, maybe I could do it tomorrow. No, because I'm gonna be playing Berserker tomorrow, and I need to be concentrated. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah, I'll do it today, so I don't have to do it tomorrow, and I won't be able to do it Thursday because I'm not going to stream Thursday. And I don't want to do like I did last time with all three on one day, because that ruined like an hour of the stream. So we saw The Accountant 2 yesterday, right? And then, what was the other one? Until Dawn. I'm going to start with The Accountant 2. I have some things to talk about with Until Dawn, that's one. And that one might take a little bit longer. So let's start with The Accountant 2. First of all, yeah, we're going to start with the spoiler-free, and then we'll go into spoilers for anyone who wants to hear that doesn't care. If you do leave for like a couple minutes and then come back. I'm going to start with... Well, we'll both do it at the same time. We're going to start with the good, the bad, maybe something we think could do better, and then we'll just give the score, and we'll compare it to the first one. I gave the first one... You weren't here, you were at work. I gave the first one like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's not perfect, but I think it was like really slow. Obviously, it's the first movie, so of course it's gonna be slow. But I gave it 8.5. I said, "Oh, when you finally can say you'll give your rating." So forget like everything. Just for the first one, what would you rate it out of? Oh, 7.5. There you go. She rated it at 7.5. Okay. First of all, I'm going to start off by saying I love this one a lot more than the first, and I did not think that was going to happen. I think a lot of sequels fall into that sequel bait thing where it's just money, make more money. However, this one is 8 years and 2 months after the first. They literally point that out in the movie, which is funny, because also I believe, and I think this is like a triple knocker. The first movie came out 8 years and 2 months ago. So that's the first knock, right? The second knock is I don't think Ben Affleck and John Berthold have been in a movie together on screen in 8 years and 2 months. So that's the second knocker. And the third one, obviously, the timeline from the first movie to the second movie, the two brothers haven't seen each other for 8 years and 2 months. So that's pretty cool that they have like that triple thing going on. This guy destroyed my bike, so I need to fix it before I can go kill him. Like this. They're rippers, of course they're rippers. But yeah, so, yes, I loved it better than the first one. I didn't think I would, but I did. Would I go see it again? Hell yes, I really, really love this one. I'm trying to... Oh, let me kill this guy, because he's kind of getting me. There we go. The good. Okay, so, and this is good based off of my opinion. So someone else might not see this as good, of course. I'm gonna first I'm not gonna get into spoilers right now, but I'm gonna get into saying it's not as slow as the first one, but it still maintains that slow pacing, but not in a bad way. So that's a plus for me in the second movie compared to the first. In the first, I was like, man, like I get you're trying to set up the story and stuff, but I want this action. The first time I saw it, because someone recommended it to me, I gave it a chance, and I was like, oh, I liked it. This one I was able to see the day it came out, so cool. I knew what I was expecting. But all I heard was action, and I was in. I didn't know anything else other than that. I didn't ask anything else other than that. So I guess that was particularly my fault on that end. However, nonetheless, I didn't hear anything else other than action. That's what I went in for. I didn't ask for anything else. So, with that being said, there's a Nero checkpoint here. I'm just trying to unlock it. It's not unlocking. I'll come back.
Deer crossing.
Yeah, it was a bit slow, but not in a bad way because, the relationship between, and I'm not going to get into spoilers between it until we talk spoilers talk. But the relationship between Ben Affleck and his brother, John Bernthal, in there, I absolutely loved how they interacted well on screen. And I'm going to kind of mimic a lot of other reviewers' like speeches when they came to this movie, where if they made this movie into a full series, like, I don't know if you know The Equalizer, when Denzel Washington, they made 3 movies. They just confirmed last year they're making 2 more, because Denzel was going to stop after the 3rd, but, the people want more, and the directors love the series. They still got a couple stories they can make out of him and his character, and, I mean, Denzel isn't that old, so he said, yeah, sure, why the hell not? I'm not doing too much crazy actions like Keanu or who's Mission Impossible? Tom Cruise, and they're really old. I'm not doing nothing too crazy like that. Yeah, I can make 2 more. So he agreed to it. They're filming it. I don't know when. I don't know the release dates, but they're working on 2 more. And then I guess the show was made. I didn't watch a lot of it because it was kind of dookie. But I didn't watch a lot of it, but I heard it was made to honor the movies, which I don't think it did well. And as well as give a fresh new take on the actual universe. And again, I didn't finish it, so I don't know how it did that. However, I know the main character wasn't Denzel Washington, so why the hell am I going to watch the show? I like The Equalizer because of the story, the action, and the kills, the fights and stuff, just like Keanu Reeves and John Wick. And Denzel Washington. If Denzel Washington is in it, that already ruins a big factor for me for the movie, or the TV show. I also heard the action scenes were, like, way down par compared to the movies. Yeah, I don't want that. And I get it, it's for the major TV audience. They don't just want to cater to one demographic. I get it, but still, no. And then, they don't have any characters from the movie. So, like, it seems like it's its own thing rather than a homage to the original where it came from, which is the movies. In which case, I didn't like it. So,
where's Tucker?
My main thing is if they made the this franchise into a TV show, I would eat it up. As long, and I said this, I a couple of reviewers didn't say this and some did. I want Ben Affleck and John Bernthal in the show. I want them involved. Not like as a cameo. I want them as the main people. And I want to see them... There's a collectible nearby. I want to see them have either a backstory where there's like a younger version of them and the stuff they used to do, or maybe like instead of making a 3rd accountant movie, they can make the show and it's like 1 season and that leads into the 3rd movie if they decide to do that. So, yeah, they made a show of the accountant. I'd totally eat it up. John Bernthal and Ben Affleck on the same screen work really well together. Once again, Ben Affleck does a really good job at making you believe he has autism when he doesn't. So he's just really good. And the same thing goes for John Bernthal. Okay, then. And it's glitching again for me, man. Can you repair my bike? Can you refill me? Okay, guess not. Later. But yeah, so overall, the one thing I loved in the game, wow, in the movie was their relationship. The 2 actors on screen doing what they got to do. Sometimes silly, joking around, during downtime, sometimes getting to business, doing what they got to do. And again, there isn't a lot of action scenes in this movie compared to the first, but when the action comes up, it is really good. It's really top tier. I had a good time with it, and I wish I got a little bit more of it. I say a little bit because even when there's no action happening around, Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal, the two brothers, do a really damn good job at keeping you entertained. Whether it's with a slow, fun moment, I'm sure you guys have seen it in the trailer where they're at the bar. Ben Affleck is dancing with this one girl. This guy comes up claiming to be the boyfriend, tries to get in a fight.
I'm telling you.
Jon Bernthal and him whoop him,
Everywhere
and
you
they
look,
leave, and he gets their number.
It's all one giant lava field. 25 feet, solid rock.
It's in the movie, and it's really good. And it was a downtime. It was a downtime that they were taking a break before going on with their mission.
But these people are
So
hungry.
I think
Even if they had all their strength, it'll take
I
them
think
months to finish
their
this job with
relationship
picks
on
and
screen
shovels.
is amazing and very beautiful. So I could have honestly done a whole movie like that, and if you didn't tell me it didn't have action, I would have loved it. They're really good on screen together.
But this job's got to get done with.
Jon Bernthal kills it in this movie. He is. I don't think he's better than Ben Affleck in the movie, but
Wait,
I expect him to be more of a side character because he's the brother. And not really. They're like the two leads, even though he doesn't come in until 40 minutes in the movie.
spotted a large group of them coming over the pass.
But pretty damn good. So that was probably the biggest thing I loved seeing was their relationship on screen.
Are they towards us?
Ben Affleck more into his autism in the movies when they touched on it more. I loved it. There is a scene, without giving spoilers, they showed it a tiny bit in the trailer where he's at like a bingo
What the fuck are you up to
tournament
now, huh?
thing.
What's this about?
Not bingo. It was a dating
It's
thing.
not his
That
job to know. It's your goddamn job to know.
he killed that scene. It was like 10 minutes, but it was just so funny.
You're the one here, running
So
your jig.
so well done. And yeah, overall, like all the actors on screen were good. Even the girl that played Medina, which was the successor to the one that dies in this movie, J.K. Simmons, which they showed in the trailer. I liked her. She had one fight scene, not much of a fight scene, but her morality of being a private investigator / cop versus Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal's assassins, hitmen, whatever you want to call them, conflicted at times, but at the end they put it together, and I love the dynamic that they were going with the cop versus the bad guys working together. It was nice. It was nice, and it didn't even seem too short or too long. Where like the first movie, I was like, okay, like I still love the first movie. I think they didn't need to do so much exposition and like detailing. And if they were gonna do that, they could have spread a little action scenes slowly throughout, where really it didn't show up until like the second half of the movie, and then it was in the rest of the movie, which is fine. I was there for the action the first time around. Now I know what to expect, and I love this movie a lot more.
I'm not Boozer's old lady. He goes where
I don't think this is too important, but just in case anyone was wondering, do you have to see the first one to see the second one? I would say no. They explain a little bit of what happened before between the brothers and the guy that dies in this movie, literally at the beginning and stuff like that. They explain a little bit of what happened without kind of giving you everything, but getting you up to speed so you kind of know what's going on. However, do I recommend you seeing the first one before seeing this? Yes. It is good. I like the second one better, but they're both still great movies, and they're still like at least 8s. They're both at least 8s. Obviously, I gave the first one an 8.5, but they're both like up there that they're worth seeing. Like you're not gonna feel like you wasted your time. So yes, you don't. I don't think you have to see the first one, but I do recommend that you see the first one. They're both good. It's kind of like was it the Equalizer series, right? If you want to see the second one, do you need to see the first? Not really. They explain a little bit and get you caught up to speed. The same thing goes with the third. They do the same for the first and second. However, do I recommend you seeing all three? Yes, because they're fantastic. Same thing with John Wick. But yeah, like I don't know how to rate this.
Remember what you said. You were.
I feel like the only and the only bad thing I really had, and it's not really a bad thing, it's just preference. I wish it wasn't as slow. It's still not as slow as the first movie, thank the Lord for that, but and I'm not saying it's like it's bad, because like I said, a lot of the downtime when there is no action, it's still great. It's great acting. It's home. What is it called? Like when the family feelings. I want to say home buddy, but that's not what it is. No, they have it as a category for anime. Wholesome? Yeah, the wholesome moments. Sorry. The wholesome moment. I drew a blank. The wholesome moments and that wholesome story between the two brothers.
See what I can do.
How they could still fight and somehow still be like, hey, it's my brother, I'm there for him, and stuff like that. And it was just so sweet. There are moments at the end that made me cry a little bit. One involves, I'm not going to spoil it until we get into the spoiler talk. One involves children, yeah, and another one involves pets. So there's a kitty, and I'm not going to say if it's bad or good until the spoiler. Right now, I'm not crying because of that, because of something that happened to that. I'm crying because that there's a cat in the movie, and there is kids in the movie, and this is a movie about death and action. I'm going to say it. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And then when we get to spoilers, I'll describe why I cry at those moments. Okay.
What's your problem?
Overall, I don't know what I would rate it. I'm trying to think. It's better than the first, so obviously I have to rate it higher than an 8.5.
Got tortured, like they always do. But this time,
Damn, I had a really good time with this movie. I feel like I want to name put it at 9.5. What do you put it at?
Heard of them. A lot of bikes around here. What's it?
An 8 or 8.5. Okay, so the first one she put at a 7.5. The second one she's saying 8 or 8.5. So yeah, I told her towards the end, I said, I think I like this one better than the first one. And then she agreed. So I figured it was going to be a little bit higher too. So yeah, for me, the first one was an 8.5, hers was a 7.5. Mine for the second one was a 9.5, hers was an 8 or an 8.5. So pretty close by. They're both great movies. If you don't want to waste a ticket to see it in theaters, then just wait till streaming. It's going to be a little bit longer, but it will come. The first account is, I have it on DVD. I didn't want to go through all my DVDs. I have a ton. But me and her rewatched it because she hadn't seen it before, but I had before the second movie. So that's how we were able to be prepared. I didn't remember too much of what happened, so I had to rewatch it just so I could be up to speed. So she watched it with me, and she got into it, and she was like, oh, okay. So she understood afterwards kind of the premise of leading into the second movie. So what happened was, it's on Max. So if you want to watch the first one, it's on Max. If you have a subscription, it's free if you have a subscription with Max. It's really good. As for the second one, that obviously it's only in theaters now. I do recommend it, but if you're not gonna see it until it's on streaming, I understand. It's still worth a watch. Put it that way. What else? What was the next one? Oh, Until Dawn. Right. Okay. Let's talk spoilers for the accountant first. So obviously J.K. Simmons dies at the beginning. So spoiler warning for anyone that doesn't want to be spoiled. Maybe they're going to see it later. Who knows? If not, and you don't care about spoilers, then sure, just keep listening. So J.K. Simmons dies at the beginning. That is in the trailer, so you're not getting spoiled. He is meeting with this lady to find this family. It's a wife, a husband, and a little boy. I think he was 5 years old in the picture. It's a 10-year-old picture, so he doesn't know if they're alive or anything, but they ask for help from him, and he's trying to find them. He doesn't know what's going on, but he wants to help. J.K. Simmons' character was the head of like the Treasury group, basically like the CIA, one of those FBI type groups. You know, the ones that are in the shadows and stuff like that. You know, not very many of the government people know about him. And he's retired now in the second movie, whereas in the first one he only had a couple years before retirement. But Dina has taken his place, whereas in the first one she was still like the apprentice to take over, so now she's fully over. Although I think she still reports to him here and there. Because when he dies, she says, yeah, she kind of mentioned some stuff about still reporting whenever. And then he, right before his death, when he meets with this lady, and eventually I'll say who the lady is, but for the beginning, since we're talking spoilers, he meets with this lady because he feels this lady can find the father, mother, and kid for him. He has no one else to turn to, and he doesn't take any cases unless he finds them meaningful. That's what he told her. So, obviously this case means a lot to him, so that's why he needs help, and that's why he accepted this case. He is broke. They mentioned that when he's killed, like he had legal troubles. And that's why they thought he was murdered or killed. That isn't why, but the cops and stuff believe that was a possible reason for his death. It was not. I don't know why they felt the need to put it in there, but it was not the reason why.
You're gonna, okay. You're gonna make it out here.
What else?
Yeah, camp. What camp? Show me.
Trying to think.
Peaceful Lake. Mark Copeland. It's safe there.
Oh yeah, so he meets with this lady, and there's a couple of hitmen, I think 3 that go inside, one that is already inside, so 4, and then there's one outside. I don't know if they're all part of the same group, but they're all there for one reason, and it's to kill that girl that he's meeting with. Again, we're as the viewers, we don't know who that girl is yet. But they slowly tell us. However, the officer of the Treasury, I forgot his name, he believes they're there for him. They're not, they're there for her. So he lures them away, he lures 2 away, while they go after him. 2 of them stay behind because they're really there for her, but he does not know that. My bike is out of gas. I am cooked, bro.
This is Radio Free Oregon. The truth shall set
Come
you free.
on. It's nighttime. Don't do this to me. So yeah, 2 go after him, and he traps himself in the restroom. Don't know why you would do that, but he traps himself in the restroom, and 2 go after her. They stay behind, they go after her, because they're actually just there for her. Now, what happened? He ends up killing the 2 in the restroom. He goes out looking for her, she kills the 2 that were after him. I guess they called for backup, so a couple come after them still. She kills a couple outside. He kills 1 inside. The second one he uses as a hostage until he gets close to the outside. That one gets run over by a car, gets killed. And the third one is outside waiting, with like a low-key sniper hidden in the car. Well, he wasn't able to hit the girl, which was his target. But instead, he said, hey, the guy that was meeting her, I want to kill him instead. I guess to be a dick. I mean, I don't know why. But he ends up shooting him, and guess what? That's how J.K. Simmons died. Well, right before he dies, he had a pen, and he wrote on his arm saying, find the accountant. That is shown in the trailer that he dies, and it was shown that he wrote on his arm, find the accountant. So that's what Medina eventually gets a call from the officers, which are, funny enough, based in L.A., and basically they're told to call her. They call her. She goes over to the station. She sees what's up. They tell her what happened. She's like, oh, they bring up the legal trouble thing, and she's like, oh, why do you assume he was having legal troubles? And they're like, oh, and they show him his arm, which says find the accountant. Now she knows what that means. They don't. So of course she's just like, oh, okay, this is bigger than us.
Hey, what do you need?
So she goes to find him.
Just taking a look.
She goes to his old place from the first movie, finds out that he has a...
Hey, what's up?
Well, finds his old house, right? So she goes there, finds out he moved or whatever, and he left all his photos and stuff from previous investigations behind. Well, she found a card. I'm not gonna try to give too many spoilers for the first movie in case no one's seen it. But she finds a card that is tied to the first movie with he has some help from a very smart, not university, but like a home for smart, intelligent, gifted kids. And those kids are basically his eyes and ears. They're so smart that they work with him. He's like the boss, and they tell him this info and where to go and the targets to hit and stuff. And they wire money to him from the contractors, whatever. Anyways, right? She finds that card, she calls it. And this was like one of the funnier moments in the movie. It happened twice. Once at the beginning and one at the end, which is hilarious. Everyone was laughing in the theater we were in. She calls the receptionist to answer. She's like, how can I help you? She says, yeah, I'm Medina, part of the treasury, government, blah, 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 whatever. She's like, okay, how can I help you? She's like, I'm looking for the accountant. Is there anyone there that goes by that name, you know, an affiliation? She gives off his fake names, stuff like that. And they're like, no, nobody here works like that. And she's like, okay, well, this, that. And she's like, lady, the receptionist says, miss or ma'am, I don't think you are calling the right spot. I don't think who you're looking for is here and this stuff. She's like, no, I'm pretty sure this is it. So then eventually she just talks to someone who's listening. So she says, hey, I know you're listening. You know, I need to find him. You know, my boss Simmons is dead. He helped us before. We need your help finding him, and I need to speak with him. You know, have a job for him. And the lady was just talking about, because she mentions, which you could kind of get charges for in real life. She mentions a lot of cold cases and murder and stuff over a public phone, which you can't do if they're private, right? But she does to the receptionist, and the receptionist was kind of getting like creeped out. She's like, "What the?"
What do you need?
You know, and she was just like, she hangs up ultimately, and then she's like, like hoping whoever was listening that she thought was listening, basically, I guess tracked her location or got where she was trying to say and relayed the info. She did. To put it short, she did. So then she reaches out, they meet up later, they start the job that they're working on, right? They have a couple little montage, I think 20 minutes of like finding out what links all these things together into the boss that is dead. And the girl, who's the girl? They find her. Ben Affleck calls in a friend because she's like, I don't have anyone. I think I have someone that is willing to help on the case. And he's like, I actually might know someone. Calls the brother. They make jokes at first, then they get butthurt because they haven't seen each other in so long. One feels like they didn't do anything wrong. The other feels like their feelings were hurt. Anyways, look, they make up. They meet up at LA to do the job.
Hey, man.
Ben Affleck is up with working with Medina. John Berthal isn't, because he's complete crazy assassin. And he's like working with a Fed is like literally putting chains on us already. So he doesn't like the idea of it, but he loves his brother, so he works with him. Obviously, throughout the time of trying to find out what's really going on, John Berthal is the one to get more erratic and punch or shoot someone rather than talk it out, where Ben Affleck is the rational one and only punches and be violent if he has to. Yeah, so a rocky road, there's no pun intended on that, for the two brothers with the police officer. They do something that she just finds uncalled for, and she's just like, yeah, don't call me anymore, don't see me again, or I'll arrest you. I can't. I have to do stuff within the law, and you guys, you don't, or you can't. Oh, excuse me. So she doesn't want to be a part of that, which I get it, the moral code, but like, I mentioned it in the movie to my fiance. I was like, you know, I guess she wants to be moral and stuff, like the good cop, the good government official, but unfortunately, I bet you a lot of her coworkers are just as corrupt. So I don't really think that moral standing matters in this. You want to find out who killed your boss. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get it done. Obviously, don't go out on a murder spree, but, like, get it done. Obviously, she thought otherwise. I understand, but I don't understand as well. So, yeah, and that ultimately leads with finding out who that girl was that met JK. I'm not going to go into the crazy amount of spoilers, because then I would just be explaining the whole movie. Then what's the whole point, right? So we find out that the assassin lady at the beginning that spoke with J.K. Simmons before he died was actually the mom in the photo. She had a car accident when her son was taken. The father was killed immediately by this gang cartel weird group. I don't know what they were. And her son was taken away with all the children that were there present. They were trying to cross the border to have, I guess, a better life in America. The father was killed because he fought back. The son was taken away from his mom to be used for whatever reason, I don't know.
How's life in the hospital?
And the mother was, I think, to be killed, but she got away. And she ended up in the hospital. And after the hospital, and I can't find a freaking gas can. After the hospital, she escaped the hospital because she knew people were still after her. And she ended up in a car crash because of that, while being chased by someone that was still trying to finish the job. Due to the car crash, she ended up in the hospital again with serious injuries. Like, it messed up her memory badly, right? So she had, like, something going on in her brain. Kind of like head trauma from a normal crash that ended up somehow doing good for her. It actually activated some stems or things in her head that she didn't have access to before. So she was just a normal person before. After her injury, she became very, very smart. She learned how to fight when she never had the capability of before. She didn't know. And she got abnormal amounts of flexibility, combat, picking up stuff fast. She learned how to hunt, other stuff. She beat one of the doctors in chess when she never knew how to play before. And then she became more violent, stuff like that, right? Well, anyways, she eventually forgot who she was. Well, she did when she was in the crash. But then she got a little bit of it back, but she didn't know family, kid. All she knew was, hey man, I know how to fight, and I'm going to kill people, right? So she moved on like a completely different person. Well, lo and behold, that is the girl that met with JK at the beginning. So obviously he had some relationship with her, which is interesting to say the least. The son, they find the son. He is somewhere in El Salvador being held against his will. They set a contract on that girl and Medina because she's finding info on those people and they don't want her snooping. And funny enough, who picks up the contract but the mom. So she comes to kill Medina. Almost succeeds. Ben Affleck learns afterwards when his brother, John Bernthal, was supposed to take the contract for Medina, but couldn't. I don't know why. Maybe he started having a conscience. Let me clear my throat because I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay. But he didn't take the contract. He waited too long. The mother took the contract, and then the boss that gives out the contract says, never mind, the contract's been taken, just, wait for a new contract. So the mother tries to kill Medina, doesn't succeed because Ben Affleck comes in, explains, hey, you're so-and-so. She's like, not anymore. Because she saw a photo that was left behind of her family, and she got those memories back. She felt them all. She started crying. Well, that's when Ben Affleck comes in, and he says, you're so-and-so, and she's like, not anymore. And then she leaves. He saves Medina's life. She's in the hospital for like 20 or 30 minutes in the movie, and then she comes back at the end. But, yeah, that happens, and then Ben Affleck and John Bertha go after the kid to save the kid. There is... Obviously, they save the kid. So, two reasons why I cried at the end. One, I said kids, right? Well, I cried because of the kids, because I was like, man, if they kill one of these kids, I'm gonna cry. I told that to my fiance. I don't like seeing a young kid or an elderly person or even animals get killed just for the sake of killing them. Like, okay, it could be like, oh, I was getting attacked, but it's a kid. He doesn't know better. Or It's an animal. They're probably just hungry. Like, there's not a reason to kill. So I feel sad, right? So I was just like, oh God, I hope no kids die, because you learn when he finds the kid that it's not just the son that was taken. It was a whole group of kids, and they were taken by this group away from their parents. They were going to kill the group of kids, so no evidence was tied back to them before John Bernthal and Ben Affleck found where their location was. It was too late; they had already found, but now they're on a ticking time that they have to save the kids before they're killed. And it was a very, very emotional moment because I was like, oh no, the kids. Luckily, they did not kill the kids, of course. Thank the Lord on that. But after they had saved the kids, there was a segment where they stopped the bus. There was like a side plot story of John Bernthal wanting to get a dog. Because earlier on in the story, Ben Affleck, his brother, tells him, hey, are you happy? So I'm happy. Of course I'm happy. You know, I don't have anyone to answer to. No one to bitch at me. You know, I don't have to answer to no one. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I go on traveling vacations, and I don't need to hear nothing. Now, of course I'm happy. And he says, why would you... He tells his brother, why would you think I'm not happy? And he's like, well, you don't have a significant other, no pets, no kids, and, you know, no one to answer to. And he's like, I like it that way. So,
What's up?
lo and behold, he
Cope.
he wants to adopt a dog, I guess, to feel something, without having to feel like he needs to be around constantly. And then Ben Affleck tells him that's not what dogs need. You seem more like a cat person.
Help you with that bike.
And he's like, oh, well, how would you know? And towards the end of the movie, lo and behold, when they stop the bus, there's a cat walking in the street, and he kind of like adopts the cat. And I was like, oh, the movie's not over. I hope that cat doesn't die. So I got emotional there as well. So those were the two. Nothing happened to the kids or the cat. I just was emotional because there's a pet on screen in a death-killing movie, and there are kids on screen with a death and killing movie. So I was just worried that something might happen to them. Nothing did, but I was worried ultimately. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the spoilers, though. But overall, good movie. Again, I recommend the first and the second Accountant, but you don't need to see the first without seeing... I mean, you don't need to see the second without seeing the first. But I do recommend it because they're both great. Now, the other movie we saw was Until Dawn, which is obviously based off of the famous video game, which still to this day is my favorite one they've made. I did like the werewolf one. I don't remember what that one was. But I still think Until Dawn was their best, and I still want a sequel for that game. Okay, the movie is nothing like the game. Put it that way. It just shares the name and has a little bit of similar aspects from the game in it. And obviously the director that is working on it, that had a lot of say-so, was the one that worked on the game. And he also made a lot of other movies that I didn't know about. But he did the storytelling for the movie, as well as the storytelling for the game. So, what were the movies they said he did, babe? The guy that made Until Dawn? What were the movies they said he worked on? Which one?
I'm just gonna grab
Little Hat. What the heck? I don't remember. He did some big things. He worked on Annabelle Creation. He did Annabelle Creation. That's one. What was the other horror movie he did? Daddy Longlegs, and another one that I can't remember. So, Lights Out. The one that was small and it blew up, so they made a full movie, which I actually really loved, especially with the creepiness at the end. And because as a kid I grew up hating the darkness, but now I love it. Ironic. But yeah, a pretty decent track record. I love Lights Out. I liked Annabelle Creation. I still don't think it was the scariest. I think Annabelle Comes Home was, even though people said that was the least scariest. I disagree. But Creation was good. It was still scary. It just wasn't as scary compared to Annabelle Comes Home for me or the others. But good movies, right? Not like the biggest, greatest movies, but not bad movies either. So once I watched it and then learned about the director, I was like, oh, I get it now. So There were a couple things I didn't like about this movie. One was the cliche, they were constantly tripping over nothing in this movie when they were running from the killers. And I'm like, how do you... See, I see things differently than other people. I don't understand. I don't think anyone is stupid enough or even willing to risk it, put it that way, to trip on a tiny branch while they are running from someone that is trying to kill them. Ever, whether it's nighttime or daytime. I know I wouldn't. Okay, it's my life. I know if I fall, I'm effed. I'm basically screwed. I'm not going to fall. And if I do, I'm getting up so fast. They don't. They take so long to get up. They playing games. They playing games. So they have a lot of cliche moments where they'll fall on nothing. Or they'll get trapped and they're like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm like, oh, you're not going to look for another exit, you dumbass. Cliche horror moments where you just want to be mad at them for no reason. I mean, not for no reason. They're making dumb decisions that they shouldn't. But it's a horror movie, and we kind of should expect that shit to happen, even though I hate it. So a lot of cliche horror moments that I didn't like. I get it. They happen in every movie, but I also understand that there's a lot of people that ain't stupid enough to act like this, and I want to see a movie where there are smart survivors, and they survive. And they don't die because they trip over a freaking tiny stick or a rock because they ain't looking at the ground while they're running. Or they're not paying attention to their surroundings. And they run into a tree or something. You know, like, it's tiring seeing the same cliche BS in horror movies when I know no one's that stupid. Like, what? I'm going to give you a perfect example because I know people will be like, well, yeah, but some people are that dumb. No. And tell me, answer this correctly. If you were in that real life scenario, and I'm going to give you the scenario. I think it was Halloween Kills, the second Halloween. It was the reboot by Blumhouse, right? And Michael Myers is coming at you with a knife. Are you grabbing the knife that you see in the kitchen sink? Or are you grabbing the freaking broom right next to you? No, you're lying if you say you're grabbing the broom. Anyone that says they're grabbing the broom, and anyone who says they're grabbing the broom for range is lying. You can't hurt no one with a damn broom. And don't say, oh, break it half and stab. Okay, yeah, sure, but the knife is going to be more durable, and it's going to be more useful. Why grab the broom? You're lying. No one in their mind that is being chased to be killed is grabbing a broom. It's just not happening. I don't care. It's not happening. Like, you can't convince me. No one is that dumb. Like, so I want to see just once someone grab the knife over the broom. Now, obviously, that's just an example, but like, stop being dumb. Like, so yeah, there was a lot of dumb moments. Like, and I'll give you one. It's not really a spoiler. It's like in every horror movie, but they'll be told not to open the doors and not to let it in, because then you're dead, right? And they'll be like, but I heard someone I cared about their voices out there, so we have to open it. No, they said don't let it in and open it. We're gonna die. I don't care who's out there. Like, no. What do? They're like, yeah, she's our friend. We should open the door. And they open it. I'm like, and 3 of them didn't want it open, but the one wanted it open, and they didn't stop him. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, so, yeah, there's a lot of dumb moments, and those were, like, the ones I hated the most. Because I'm like, oh, come on, I know you're not stupid. What the... It really kind of peeved me off, you know. It's just it was funny too, sadly, because I didn't expect. I expected a little bit more smart brains in this movie, and we did not get that. So it is unfortunate. I returned the thing to Copeland. Why can't I? Well, I don't have another mission. I should have unlocked another mission. Oh, then they want me to leave. Hold on.
What's up, man?
But yeah, so a lot of cliche dumb moments that make you hate it. Yeah, it's saving.
Deke, you there?
Yeah, it's gonna give me a mission now.
Why the hell aren't you?
Other than that, another thing I didn't like, and this, a lot of people said,
Back in the tunnel.
and they're like mixed on it. So a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people didn't.
Crazy.
I'm in the minority. Well, not minority. I'm in the other half that didn't like it instead of like it. I think they could have made the movie a tiny bit longer, like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes longer, and expanded on that rather than rushing it. So, not gonna go into spoilers yet, but there was a couple. Obviously, there's deaths in this movie. You saw the trailer, right?
I gotta go.
So I think it was on their third or fourth death of everyone that they say.
Stone crop, get it right.
They say, well, a lot of people here in the booklet, because they find a booklet where they end up, that it says there were multiple people here that went missing, and this is how many nights they were here before they went missing. So they're telling that up with their nights of deaths, because they're assuming the same thing happened to those people that went missing. So they're like, okay, we have died 3 times. Or 4 times. We're on our 5th, right? So a lot of people, they made it up to like 10, 15 before they went missing. So I think we still have plenty more tries, right? And they're like, wrong, we've been here 13 nights. We've died 13 times. And I'm like, everyone in the theater was like, wait, what? Like, there was a guy behind me that he played the video game. I know, because he kept telling his girl that knew nothing that he played the video game and the differences from the video game to the movie and stuff like that. And she kept asking questions and he kept answering. So I know he played the video game and she just was dragged along or whatever. Anyways, he explains everything to her, right? And he was like me in the movie theater. He was just like, wait, what? 13 days? What happened? They didn't show us any of that. And what the hell did they do? One of the muscular guys that actually becomes scared and wants to put everyone's life at risk for his own says, oh, wait, I think I recorded what happened. Maybe what I recorded could give us some insight of what to do if this is our last night, right? Tell me why they thought it was such a great effing idea. It was not, okay? But tell me why they thought it was such a great idea to do a montage of all those nights that we missed, that we didn't see, on his phone recording, showing how they died, showing the people that were trying to kill him, or the things that were trying to kill him, or the ways that they were dying, on that phone, instead of giving us 20 to 30 minutes showing us full story, full expedition, full time, not cut short, what the hell happened. Instead, they gave us like a 5-minute quick recap of like, what was it, 5? They were on night 5. They were supposed to be on night 5, but they were on night 13. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 9 days. 9 deaths. They showed us 9 days and deaths recapped in a 5-minute thing of what happened. Now, I get why people would like that, because they don't want to, maybe some people didn't want to see that. I was enjoying the kills. I liked that they were all different each night and by a different thing. And I like seeing the gore and deaths. I'm sorry that I like the horror, okay? Instead, they thought putting it 5 minutes, putting 9 days and 9 deaths, they, I'm sure were unique, because we were seeing the footage and the creatures look so cool and unique, but we didn't see how they died. We didn't see what they were capable of, because they just gave us a 5-minute montage of them getting trapped, and then the screen going black, and then going to the next night, and the next black, and it was so dumb. I was mad. I was like, bro, that's dumb. I wanted to see all those nights. I didn't want a 5-minute montage on a phone screen of what happened. And again, it's mixed. Some people like that they gave the montage, and some people didn't. So it's mixed. I did not. I wish they would have stretched the movie 30 more minutes to show that shit. Because I was enjoying the kills, and I was enjoying the different monsters or people chasing them to kill them. I was enjoying it. I would have loved to see that instead of it being cut into 5 minutes. It was dumb. So those were really the only 2 things I really didn't like about the movie. I love the gore. I love the horror. There was a couple of cliche jump scares. It's a horror movie. I don't know what you expect. There's going to be jump scares. And, yeah. Now, let's talk the overall thing of the movie. I think it was good for what they were trying to do. They weren't obviously trying to do the video game as a movie. They were trying to use the name and do something like the video game with the choices and stuff like that, but in movie format. Obviously, you cannot easily translate the every choice you make in the video game thing chooses how that character is going to live or die in a movie. Okay? We did it with Final Destination. I don't think they could have done that in the movie as well as they did in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can agree or disagree if you think I'm wrong on that. But I don't think they could have. And the director said the same thing as well when we saw the behind the scenes trailer of him describing basically the premise of what they were doing with the game and the new mechanic they decided to take with their approach with the movie, which they didn't do with the game. And it was for the reason I said. He didn't think he could translate the same game mechanic thing into the movie because it's hard, which I know it is. I've seen directors try hard things and fail. But he also reiterated he wanted to do a different spin for anyone who did play the game. So it made them feel like, hey, I don't know everything that's going to happen. And obviously, a lot of these characters aren't the same characters from the game. None of them are, obviously, except for the Doctor, Dr. Hill, which plays Dr. Hill in the movie and the game. But in the game, he is a figment of Josh's memory that he conjures up as a therapist because he feels like he needs that to move on.
Good.
But eventually he disowns him, right? And the therapist leaves his mind saying, no, you need to help yourself. I can't help you. You're too far gone. Or you messed up or whatever, right? Where in the movie they try to make you seem like it's a real character. The only reason I believe it's not is because of the endings. Now, I'm not going to show or explain that until we talk about spoilers. So we're just going to leave it at that. So he's the only really returning character, and yes, it's the same actor that did the motion capture for the game. Okay. This isn't something I don't like. It's just something I was just like, I wish I could have felt this way, but I didn't. So what am I talking about? By the end of the movie, none of the characters I remember their names, except for the Dr. Hill. I didn't recognize the main girl's name. I forgot her sister's name. Well, Melanie. That's it. But her sister becomes a monster, so I don't remember her name, and she was the main character. I don't remember any of her friends' names.
Nice refugee camp.
My fiance remembered like 2 or 3. We don't. They did a really bad job at me caring for them. And then they try to nail in that they're these close-knit friends here for each other during this time, but yet throughout the movie, they're all, except for one of them, they're all trying to betray each other and basically get everyone else killed just to save their own butts. So throughout the whole movie, I was not buying the friendship thing. They're like, oh, we get through this by sticking together like we always have. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And then the next moment, they're like, nah, man, she's out there. She's dead already. We gotta call for help. We can save her if we leave her, literally leave her and come back. And she's like, oh, and then the one that is the only one making sense out of all the friends is the girlfriend. And what is she saying? She's like, no, I can't leave my friends behind. You know, they wouldn't do it to me. Sadly, they would. We see that in the movie. But she refuses until she is forced by her fucking pussy boyfriend. Which eventually gets what he's coming for. It's funny, right? But yeah, so I was like, oh, wait a minute. I thought you guys were close. Thought you guys were friends. So that doesn't matter now. Okay, that ruined that for me. That, right? And then I just hated how I really wanted to feel like every time they died, I was like, God damn. Or I'm sad that it's their last night. I don't want them to die. But they did a horrible job at me making me feel sorry or feel like I'm going to miss these characters. I didn't even know their names. And that was the saddest part about it all. Because I feel like they did a really bad job at trying to make me connect with these characters. And if they were to die, I would actually miss them. They kind of fumbled on that. And it was unfortunate, but nevertheless, it's not something that made me hate the movie. I'm just like, man.
Another bounty.
I'm here for the horror, and I'm here for the blood and the death and the gore, and I got that, so I don't really care about the characters. So not really something that makes me hate the movie, just makes me be like, why didn't they do a better job of me trying to care for these characters? Didn't care for any of them, really. And by the end, I was just like, eh. Now, we are going to talk spoilers, but before we talk spoilers, I'm going to give my rating on the movie, and then I'm going to give, my fiance will give hers. I'm trying my best not to compare it to the game. I'm going to give it like a 6.5 or a 7. I do recommend seeing it if you played the game. If you don't, then I wholeheartedly recommend it, because you have nothing to compare it off of. So even if it's dookie, then I would say, hey, play the game because it's much better. And I haven't met anyone that doesn't like the game. So now if you're a fan and you love the game, but I still say see it, because there are a couple things that are referenced from the game. I'm not going to say spoilers until we talk spoilers, so I do recommend that. However, I think you're going to kind of be like me, where you're like, it's just okay. And I don't hate it, but I don't love it, and I still like the game better. That's how I felt coming on. Like, I still think the game and its story is better, but the movie is good too. However, I would rather play the game because the story is better, and it's just, I actually cared for every character in there except for Emily, and I just think it was well done more than the movie. Nevertheless, I think whether you're a fan, you'll get your Easter eggs and moments or gore moments that you're there for, and still have a good time. I don't think you'll like it more than the game, but I think you'll still have a good time. And if you're a casual fan that's just there for a good time and a good horror movie, you're gonna get that. It's not bad by all means, but it's not what I think the fans expected when they heard an Until Dawn movie. I'm just gonna put it at that, because that's what it's catered to the fans. Because no casual person that never played the game or doesn't play games and is just there for a horror movie is gonna know what the hell an Until Dawn movie is. The fans are gonna know. That's it. So for me, it's like a 7.5, or it's a. Was it a? Did I say? Yeah, I said a 7.5 or an 8. Probably leaning more towards the 7.5. So above average, still pretty decent movie. Recommend it. Okay, so now we're gonna get my fiance's. What do you think? Until Dawn, what would you rate it out of 10? Because she knew the game. She saw me play it here and there.
What do we got?
A 6? Just flat 6? Okay, she said a 6 out of 10. Do you like the game better? Yeah, she liked the game better too. Okay, so she's a 6, so mine, I'm gonna keep it at a 7.5. All right. Spoiler talk. Spoiler talk. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, go away. If you don't mind spoilers, then well, sure, might as well, right? I'm gonna start with the deaths, since those were the points I love the most. There is 4 or 5 deaths, because I can't remember all the off-screen, like 9 deaths that they showed in that 5-minute montage. Because they didn't even really show how they died, they just showed the monsters, so I could describe the monsters, but I don't know how they died. They didn't show it. We just know that they did. So the first death was the boyfriend that became a pussy, was chopped in half by the clown in the mask that you see in the trailers. And then it was the girl. It was the girlfriend, right? Looking for a boyfriend. She was killed second. Right. She went looking for him. Saw he was chopped in half. Tried to run, and the clown literally threw the axe like a tomahawk at her back and killed her. I remember because the other ones, they were hiding underground. There is an underground, and the mine. The basic premise of the movie is the city they went to looking for the main character. I don't remember her name. Her sister, because she went missing, which her sister was Melanie. She's the only one I remember. The city they went to is very famous for people going missing. What happened was a mining accident happened. This is kind of similar to the game, where there was a whole underground mine section that led to the cabin and the auditorium and the town and say. the mining accident caused the whole town to basically sink underground. It says destroy, but when you watch the movie and they find little newspaper clippings and stuff, kind of like in the game as collectibles, you'll see that the town didn't really get destroyed. It just got taken underground. Because a lot of the buildings and stuff are still standing, but they're underground now. Which is why the tunnels are linking to that auditorium. And they're not in a cabin. It's more like a museum thing that people go to get tours of, like, the town. It's not a cabin, that's what it is now. But, yeah, everything is underground now, and that is their way out, basically. And that's, like, the ultimate premise. Of course, as they go around, they find out they're being hunted by people, constantly killed. They can't die immediately. They have a set time of deaths, and then they're gone permanently. So, after the girlfriend is killed by getting an axe thrown at her like a tomahawk, then it's the guy that broke up with the main character because they were being unreasonable or something and they needed space. It was during the sister's disappearance. I guess he was not understanding her and she needed space and he wasn't willing to give her space. So instead he said, hey, we're breaking up. So throughout the whole movie, he's trying to, like, win her over, whether it's saving her life or trying to act brave, just to end up dating her again. And some of the friends are like, bro, really? You're gonna risk her life just so she can, like, date you again? Like, come on, be real. Stop. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Well, and he ends up going upstairs to find out what that screaming was. Finds her dead, because he peeks around the corner as he's going up the stairs from the underground they were in. And he sees her dead, and he goes back and he tells the main character, I don't remember her name, and the Asian girl, what was her name? Megan. Right, she's like a psychic. She has witch power. She can sense evil or spirits or something. Anyways, he tells Megan and the main character, because those were the only three underground, they were kind of trying to split up, which doesn't work. They were trying to split up so they can find info better, right? And quicker and more efficient, right? So those two died upstairs, and then those three were downstairs. So he goes back and he says, oh, someone killed them, we need to hide. Instead of getting a weapon. Well, when he sees the guy come back, he decides to be brave, grabs a chair to try to smack it across the guy's back. Does it doesn't faze the guy, goes to the ground where the broken chair fell to grab a piece and stab the guy. Instead, the guy grabs his arm, kind of breaks it, steals the wooden piece from his hand, and stabs it in his eyeball, killing him. So that's the third kill. It's very brutal, and I love that they went brutal with this movie. I mean, because, like, a lot of horror movies shy away from it. Like, they'll do the kills, but, like, they're off screen. You just hear the scream and you know they're dead. They didn't do that with these, which I love. I love the different kills, right? One was chopped in half with an axe. The other one was tomahawked in the back and probably bled out and died. The other one was stabbed in the eye by a broken wood chair that was used as a weapon. Right. Convenient, right? Well, the killer still believes there's more down there, so he opens up, like, the walk-in closet that you have to open up. It's like a door. Pulls out Megan and throws her on the ground as she's trying to fight back and slowly starts grabbing her head while she's on the ground and lifting it up and down on the ground until he bashes her face in the ground and kills her. And the other friend, the main character, which I was just like, either run or help her, watches her be killed like that from across the way in the corner because the guy is not facing her way. Before finally deciding to help, and I was just like, bro, at that point you should have just ran. There's no one to save. She's dead. I'm not helping. She's dead. Like, what the hell? Before he started bashing her head in, I would have helped. She's dead now. Who are you saving? And she stabs him in the back with a knife that was on the kitchen table under there. And the funniest thing about that is there was someone in our theater. Everyone laughed at this comment. When she stabbed him, he's like, bitch, who are you saving? Get the fuck out of there and run. And it was so funny. Everyone in the theater was laughing. Because, yeah, low-key, she's dead now. At that point, there's no point in stabbing him in the back. She's dead. I would have just ran. The fact that you tried to stab it to her friend, it's just hilarious. And the guy that said that comment in our theater, everyone was just laughing. It was funny. And then she runs ultimately to be stabbed from behind as she's running out the front door and dies. So that was the first wave of all their deaths. Now the second wave, they're like, okay, we just gotta. I guess they find some missing posters of the people that went missing. They kind of put their brains together. They find some booklets from the underground. They do their math. They find out that they just gotta survive until dawn. Oh, they said the movie and the credits, right? No. Well, what ends up happening is they said they try to survive and they end up dying by the same clown guy in the most brutalist ways. The third time, it's like a quick death. They all die back to back trying to hide and get weapons. The third one was a little unique. So as the nights go on, the characters soon start to find out that certain things that didn't work before or weren't there before are now there. Like by the second night, there's was it the second? No, that's the fourth night. Oops. That was the last night. By the third night, they find out that there's a cabin. They don't go into immediately. It just randomly appeared in that town where they were at when there was nothing else there besides the building they were in. And then they decide to ultimately hide in the bathroom and just barricade it and stay there until dawn. Would have been a smart decision. However, one of the guys says, "I'm thirsty. Let me get some water." And then, what was her name? I want to say Karen. What's the Asian girl's name again? Megan, right. Megan says, "No, the tap water's not working. I checked it. That was the first thing I checked before we got here. And it was working now." She's like, "Huh, that's weird." And again, that's when they start realizing that things are different each night. Anyways, he decides to drink it, and everyone there was like, "Yeah, we're thirsty. We want some water too." Because he asked, "Hey, you guys want some?" So yeah, he gives them all water. Well, here's the thing. Apparently that water is like poison or something. As soon as they drink it, it messes with their insides and they blow up. So they all die. They all eventually blow up. Some try to run away and think if we can get out of the town, we can survive. Nope, they all blow up. The water caused them to blow up, so they can't even drink water. So that was the third night. The fourth night, they finally decide to go into that cabin. Ultimately to, they don't go into the cabin. They don't want to. They still want to hold up till night. The boyfriend that is a pussy now with his girlfriend, the boyfriend wants to go take the car now that it's back, because it wasn't back the second or third night. He wants to take the car and go into town and get help and then come back with the friends. The others don't want to. They still want to look for the sister and stuff like that, so he convinces the girlfriend by basically strong-arming her, like, we're gonna go get help. He pulls her in the car, while the main character goes into the cabin to look for her sister. She heard her sister's voice. And she meets a granny. She gets trapped in there. And the granny's evil, of course, like a spirit, which ends up killing her with, what's that tank, babe? That has the mask? It's not a chemo tank, right? The one that the lady was breathing in? Yeah. Oh, you know, like when somebody has an in-care home, and they have to be in a hospital bed at their house, and they have the oxygen tanks with like the little mask. That's what she had. I guess that tank was polluted or toxic because it ended up kind of possessing the main character when she put it on the main character's mouth. And then that main character obviously got ran over by the guy who was a clown, and she dies. The friend or boyfriend that dumped her now wants to get back with her somehow in this movie.
Well, she's not. Whatever the hell's going on out there? She's been sick.
Goes in there looking for her. She's now possessed, so she kills him. She kills him. After he goes into a doll room, which I hate, and there was a rocking chair rocking. He stops it 3 times. Then he turns around and starts rocking again, and there's a clown doll in it rocking it. And he, oh my god, this was funny. Everyone laughed at this in the theater. It was funny and stupid because we're like, no, don't touch the clown doll. He picks it up and he eats it. He kicks it like a football into the room, and everyone was like laughing and like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Like, and then he turns around only to see her, and he's like, oh, you're alive, how you doing? And she just stabbed him in his neck. He's dead. So, and then she runs outside, probably looking for any more killers, or not killers, any more her friends, because she's possessed, only to be hit by a car by the clown guy in the mask and die. That's the fourth death. They all reset. Then they say, hey, it's our fifth night, and then that's when they do the montage of the 9 deaths we didn't see, saying that this is their last night, they're on the 13th night. One was like a spider creature, one was the W, the Wendigos, I'm just going to say it once. And after that, I'm going to refer to them as a W, because I do believe in them in the myth. I have Native American in me. So, one was killed by that. Oh, well, all of them were killed by that. They just show they were all killed by one monster or demon in those nights. The second one was like a shadowy person with a white mask on, only then to go through that doorway. The shadow is that person, and they're this huge monstrous being, and it just goes towards them, they scream, and then obviously they die because the camera went black. The third one was... they had to kill each other because they didn't want to die by the killers. The fourth one, they didn't show all 9. I think they showed like 5. The fourth one was they tried to go with the car, only to be... it looked like a Stranger Things monster. It was like a giant titan from Attack on Titan in the city, looking for anyone who was trying to leave the city and just killing them. It was crazy. I was like, what the hell is this? Like Stranger Things? Like, anyone who's seen Stranger Things up to date and they know what's going on, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what that looked like. I was like, what the fuck? Everyone in theater was like, what the fuck is that? Like, it was crazy. I like the different designs of the things trying to kill them, and I like the different deaths. That was unique. That was cool. Even though it had nothing to do with the game, it was cool, right? So yeah, those were cool. I just, again, still wish they did the 9 deaths justice and showed us, instead of just showing that montage. I think that was a missed opportunity to show us more unique kills. People are enjoying them, so... yeah, that happened. What else? Well, they eventually find out that Dr. Hill is behind this, which was... he was posing as a guy at the gas station when they stopped for gas. They find out he's the one behind these experiments, behind these killers and everything, and stopping him will stop everything,
yes,
and then they can survive till dawn.
Always need more shit. Thanks, brother.
Well, he's in the sanatorium. They have to go through the underground in that museum area that they're at, and they have to get to the sanatorium and somehow kill him or stop him from sending anyone to kill them and let them survive till dawn. While also finding out that somehow Megan is not there, she's not dead, she's been captured, and he is holding her somewhere in that sanatorium with a... not freaker, with a W. Again, I said I'm not going to say it again. So with a W trying to... chained up, breaking the chain slowly, trying to get to her to obviously kill her. And all these heroes believe it's their last night, so they don't want to... they don't want to risk dying again. The main character goes off because she gets trapped with a whole bunch of W's with her friends, and her friends said, hey, just go, we'll survive, just go to, get to the sanatorium, stop Hill, and blah, 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 you know. Well, they do that. They hold him off, somehow they all survive, they end up killing that clown guy, with a sledgehammer? Yeah, I think a sledgehammer. And then they go to catch up with the main character. What else? I'm trying to think. So they catch up. The main character finds Megan chained up, like I told you, in the sanatorium area with the W trying to get her. She's trying to free her, so she has to look for the keys. While during looking for the keys, she ends up finding Hill. Hill is stopping her from getting the keys. Okay? So what does she do? She pulls a 180 on Hill. She sees he's drinking coffee. He likes his coffee or something. It's so silly, but it's so funny. So he likes his coffee. So one moment where he's doing his epic bad guy monologue BS, she moves the coffee cup underneath the dripping water that's in that sanatorium cave area. Because the water, you can't drink it, it makes you explode. So she used it to her own advantage. Got a couple of drops of the water, which I don't think it works like that, but sure, why not? In his coffee, and then moves the cup back to where the coffee was placed, so he didn't find out what she was doing and didn't seem suspicious. He, of course, drinks the coffee like a dumbass idiot, and he ends up dying. Because he explodes. He realizes it, she tells him, and he explodes. She grabs the keys that he had, frees Megan in time, saves her from the W, and they escape. They make it till dawn, because the clown is dead. The spirits, they stopped because they were being controlled by Hill, and they killed Hill, so although the ends well. And that's pretty much how the movie wraps up. They don't really go into, like, hey, did they all, like, not have any trauma? Did she recover from finding out her sister was a W and ultimately ending her, because she ends her sister in the mines when she was going towards Hill. She didn't want to, but she wanted to save her friends, and that mattered more to her since she couldn't save her sister anymore. So she apologizes, and that's what happened. They don't do anything like that. Seeing if any have PTSD or anything like the game, right? They don't do that like in the game if you keep everyone alive, showing that they still have trauma and stuff. They didn't do that. And I was like, man. But yeah, that happens, right? And it just ends. Now, one thing I loved about this movie is, and this is why I'm gonna skip this because it's like a side mission. It doesn't matter. This is why I'm gonna say it doesn't really matter if you like the game but don't like the movie, and I like that it's also not the game as a movie, because then I feel like it would have ruined the game's reputation, because the game is way better than the movie. The storytelling, the acting, I mean the acting was still good, but again, it's nothing compared to the actual game. So the game, the acting was better, the storytelling, and the characters, I remember all their names, and I like them all except for Emily. So okay. But yeah, so it doesn't really matter. So what they ended up doing at the end of the movie, for anyone wondering, it wasn't really a post-credit scene, it was just there at the end after they all survived. You find out, you're welcome, Hill is still alive, and my theory, because they don't explain this, is he's alive because he was never real to begin with. He was a figment of the memory, kind of like those ghosts and stuff that were killing them. They weren't real to begin with. They were spirits. They can't be killed. They're there to manipulate you and confuse you and stuff, but ultimately, obviously kill you and make you one of them. So, he was still doing his experiments on anyone who went missing there to see how the human mind would work. He is a doctor, and eventually end up kind of going against itself and destroying itself to the point where they ended up eating human flesh and becoming the W's. Kind of the same as the game, except in the game, Dr. Hill wasn't real. He was a figment of Josh's mind that Josh conjured up to give a reason for what he did and kind of help him heal, except it didn't really help him. In the movie, they leave it open. It could be a real person, it could not. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you realize the dude got blown up. At that point, I feel like he's not real, because he got blown up and survived. But I don't know. So, I'm just going to leave it at that, you know? So, but I believe, my theory is he was never real to begin with. It was just like the game where he was a figment of their imagination. And he was never real, which is why they ultimately could not kill him. Now, what else? So they tie that to the game. When he comes back, and you see he has the camera room like Josh had in the cabin, watching the cabin and stuff and seeing where people were. That's how he knew where they were and how to mess with them. He had that in the sanatorium in his office, Dr. Hill did, in the movie. What he did, though, was he, before the credits rolled, and everyone was safe, what happened was they showed he was still alive. They showed he had the cameras, which they showed before when he was hunting them. But this time when they showed it, instead of that museum area they were at, it switched from those cameras to the cabin, the Washington house from the game we know, and those cameras of the front house, of the underground mine area, of the sanatorium, it switched to all those camera locations from the games that we remember, from the game that we remember. And then on his table, we see, obviously the characters went missing, but they're now alive, so they didn't go missing. And we see other missing papers with other patients of Dr. Hill. And who's the one we see right at the top? Well, we see Josh in his face. And it says next patient. So, what I believe that means, because they don't fully explain it, is this movie is a prequel. The story and everything that happened is a prequel to the game's story between Josh and his sisters. And Josh was the next one in line. They came for Dr. Hill. Not real, but another one that was in line for a patient that needed help from something traumatic that happened to him. And they conjured up Dr. Hill in their mind as well. And Josh was the next one, so I figure that's them telling us, as the people who saw the movie, that it's a prequel to the game. And I like that because I don't think it was bad. Like I said, I love the kills, I like the horror, even though some of it was cliche. I didn't recognize or remember any of them or their names, except for Megan now, and obviously the sister that died and became a W, which was Melanie. And all the others, I didn't care if they died. But I thought they did a good job at acting. I liked the kills. I liked that they were all different by something different. I liked that they were unique. I liked the gore. I like that they tried to do a different twist with Dr. Hill as the bad guy. Even I don't know if he's real or not. They didn't really confirm that fully, so I don't know about that. What else? There's just a lot I liked about the movie, really. And the too bad I already told you they were the montage that I think instead of a montage they could have shown us those 9 nights instead of rushing them. And of course the dumb decisions, which are kind of now for everyone staples of the cliche horror movies, that they do it in every horror movie. And those were my only gripes with the movies. Everything else I pretty much had a good time with and enjoyed. So yeah.
Come on.
What else? That's pretty much it. So yeah, what I thought was they were trying to do a prequel. I could be wrong. But what they showed at the end, before the credits rolled, was exactly what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to make it as a prequel, because even the creator, the director that worked on it, said, hey, what we wanted to do different than the games was give a different story with obviously different characters and stuff like that. Because he even said, like, we could have just used the same characters. Maybe not the same actors, but the same characters. You know, Sam, Josh, blah, blah, blah. Ashley, you know, Chris. But we wanted to do something different while also still having that meaning and that same thing we loved about the game, which is the kills and the not the kills, like the horror aspect and the obviously the W's and stuff like that. And Dr. Hill, and have references to like Easter eggs and references for the fans who love the game. We wanted to keep that. And he said that he thinks they did a pretty good job at doing that. And I will agree that I think they did. For what they were going for, I think they succeeded in doing what they wanted. Obviously, that wasn't what a lot of people, I believe, wanted from this movie. But from what they were trying to create, I think that they did a good job at trying to do that. So, yeah, and again, they didn't really confirm it by the end of the movie, nor I don't think has the director commented on it. But I believe it's a prequel to the game. So I like that, because now we see why the game is a little bit more different, and why the new mechanic thing they showed, their feature thing about constantly dying until you find a way to survive till dawn. Now we know why that isn't in the game, because that was like the first experiment, and that didn't work. So now it's not really. There's no point in using that feature anymore. And now they're going to do things differently, where it's like every decision you make, kind of a Final Destination thing. So I get it. I understand it. I like that it's a prequel and it's not a sequel, because I would be like, wait, what? I like the Easter eggs, and I like that it ties back to the game in a way that makes sense, and somehow, if I didn't like the movie, I wouldn't feel like it ruined the game in any way. So I like that. So yeah. I think they did a good job for what they were trying to do. And obviously I didn't end up hating the movie. I actually really enjoyed it. I had a fun time where I like this movie. Now, if I didn't like the movie, I still would have liked that it's a prequel, so then I can kind of pretend it doesn't exist. But I did like it, so it's not really tied to the game other than it's a prequel, so it doesn't really too much matter. Now, rating. Obviously, my rating was a 7.5, and my fiance rated it a 6. So yeah, I recommend seeing it. I think, did we see it in IMAX? No? We saw the count in IMAX though. Huh? One of them had the comfortable seats. With IMAX. So that's why I had the comfortable seats. I don't know. Look, I think one of them we saw in IMAX. She's saying no, but I know like in our city, which is LA, if you pay the more expensive ticket for IMAX or 3D or whatever, you get the comfortable seats, and the lowest one gets the crappy seats that don't fold back and stuff. So I don't remember which one it was, but I recommend seeing the Until Dawn in IMAX if you can, just because the horror will be enhanced more. And if not, I recommend at least seeing it in Prime, because you at least still get comfortable seats, so you can scream and be scared. Now, do I recommend you see it in theaters? I feel like that depends on you. If you like the game, yes, because it's going to give you a lot of Easter eggs on the game, as well as nice little tidbits of connecting it to the game. Now, if you didn't like the game, well, again, I haven't met anyone who hasn't, so I don't really think that exists as an option. If you have seen it and you didn't like the movie, well, then you could just write it off like it doesn't exist. The game still exists because it's after the movie. And if you do like the movie and the game, well, then you got the best of both worlds, because you got a double story that ties together. So it's just wonderful, isn't it? Me, on the other hand, I still love the game more. For sure. The acting, the horror, everything is just way better in the game. But I don't really feel like you can judge it based off of that, because you can't get that same gaming experience and that same story. Like, you can't get that on screen. Like the director said, and like I said, I think that stuff is really hard to imitate 100% a one-to-one on screen, whether it's a movie, a TV show, as it is on game. I feel like there's much more you can do on game, in-game, than on a movie screen for a TV show or a movie. So that is the only exception I will be like, okay, like, I get why they didn't try it. And I like that they didn't, because the new approach they went with, I think they did really well at still making it interesting enough and enticing enough to make me have a good time watching it. So, yeah, like, I do recommend seeing it if you can get a cheap ticket, if you don't want to waste the full amount. If you don't care about wasting that amount on a ticket, by all means. Like I said before, and I'm going to say now, me and my fiance, we have the AMC A-list membership, so we get 3 free movies a week. And starting May 2nd, for anyone who's wondering that has one or maybe is looking to get one, it will be 4 movies free a week, and we get discounts on popcorn, food, tickets, stuff like that. So we're not really paying for these movies. We're paying for the membership, which is 25 a month, and it's now going to be 28 a month, and we get to see as many movies, well, 4 movies or 3 movies a week we want. And it's a good time, and it saves us money, obviously, instead of buying ticket after ticket. And we like the idea of getting out, not being cooped up all the time, and feeling fresh air and just having a good night out together. Even if we do it with friends, because I have seen some movies with friends as well. So we like the idea of it, and it definitely saves money in the long run. So I do recommend it if anyone that's watching or checks it out. If you like watching a lot of movies or going to the theaters a lot, I recommend getting the membership. Because, I mean, AMC is obviously the best theater ever. Anyone who says Cinemark is lying. I don't like Cinemark. I'm sorry. But AMC is the best. And if you look at all their memberships, AMC's is the best. Because it's 25 and it will be 28, but it's still cheap. You get 4 free movies a week. And guess what? It's in any format. So if I wanted to see all 4 movies in IMAX, I don't pay the extra fee. I still get that ticket for free. Where you would have to pay and I know because I got Thunderbolts, the fan event tickets, which are just expensive as the IMAX tickets. Those were $33 a piece. So it would have been $66 plus tax for 2 tickets. I got them for a discount because I have the membership. The fan event is excluded from any fan event movies or special events like anime, limited time showings or stuff. Those don't work with a membership. You have to pay for them. But you get discounts. So we, instead of paying $33 a ticket for the fan event of the Thunderbolts, we actually paid $28. So we saved like $5, almost $6 on our tickets. We still paid like, what was it, 56? We paid 28 a ticket. But we save money still. And we still, when we go, we're going to get popcorn for a discount. If we get a medium drink, we can get a large for the same price as a medium because the membership automatically gives us the large for free. So it's overall worth your money. I know anyone who goes to a movie, you're at least getting popcorn. So you save money on popcorn if you get the membership. You go to the movie for free as long as you're paying the membership. And any money you spend at the theater, whether it's on collectibles, a popcorn bucket, popcorn, a hot dog, anything, you're getting points for spending. Hell, alcohol will give you points. We got 3 things of, that good juice yesterday, and we got points for that. And the points can be used for coupons to save more money off of what you're buying. So, yeah, it's overall worth the 25, or if you're watching this after May 2nd, the 28 a month. Granted, we're in the States, so if you're probably not in California, that's where we're at. We're in Los Angeles. And you still can get the membership for AMC in your state. I would look at the price of your state, and I would just compare it against ticket prices. If you want to see 4 movies in a week, for example, I'll give you a great example, right? May 23rd. What comes out May 23rd? Lilo and Stitch, which we're going to see, and Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning, which I've seen all the Mission Impossible, so I'm going to see it. Those 2 we're going to see in the same day. We're going to try to see them in the same day. So that's 2 movies in one day. Let's say we saw both of those in IMAX or whatever the highest format you can. How much would that cost? Well, I already know 33 and 33. That's 66 times 2. That's 60 and 60 is 120. Add 6 and 6 is 12. So 12 and 12 is 24. Add it to 120. It's 144. See how quick I did that math? Thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to do math that quick. $144 for one day, 2 movie tickets, each movie. So 4 movie tickets, 1 day, 2 movies. $144. That's not popcorn. That's not drinks. That's not snacks. That's a lot of freaking money, okay? Where you can get the 2 movie ticket, all 4 movie tickets for free because it's in the same week, even though it's in the same day, and just buy popcorn and drinks. So you save that $144 and maybe spend $40, $50. That's if you want to spend a lot. If not, $30. $30 for 2 movies. The highest possible screen you can see it in. Best screen. And you get popcorn and drinks, and all you spent was 30 compared to 144. Sign me up. You know. Now I know a lot of people don't go to movies like that, right? But we see a lot of movies every year. I saw a lot last year, and over the last 10 years, I've seen a lot of movies, right, in the theater. She hasn't seen as much movies as I have because she didn't really go out until she met me. Now we go out and pretty much see anything we're interested in, and we just pay the $25 a month, which will be now a $28 starting May 2nd, and we get to see all the movies we want in the best possible, whether we want it in IMAX or the regular, or in 3D or 4DX or whatever, and we have a good time. And all we have to sometimes do is spend a little bit on food. And we have a good time. It's a night out. Sometimes we'll waste a whole day to go see 2-3 movies in one day. Yes, we've done that before. And we have fun. And ultimately, I think that's the whole point of going. And if we didn't like the movie, well, we're just paying for the membership. I'm sure throughout the whole month, there's a couple more movies we will actually enjoy that we got our money's worth. So, it's a steal. I recommend it to anyone who's watching, because I know I had a couple friends saying, how do you go to the movies all the time? How do you see all these movies? I'm like, well, before I was buying the tickets because, you know, I was just buying them. I wanted to see the movie, so obviously I'm going to buy the tickets. Now I'm getting them for free with my membership. It's way cheaper. And then, obviously, sometimes I want snacks or popcorn, or they have some really good sliders or something else, or hot dogs. I want something else. Or I want to buy the collectible popcorn bucket, which are more expensive, but I get discounts on that too because of the membership. So it just saves me money on food, collectibles, and tickets all around. That is a steal for me, right? With as much as I go to the movies, which lately it's been at least once a week. So, yeah, I save money. So, and I mean, if you don't want to save money, then I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. But, like, I mean, who doesn't want to save money, right? So, you save money, you get to see as much as you want, you have a good time, and hell, you're never gonna miss out on a movie because you get first reservation of tickets through that membership. So, yeah, and you get discounts on fan events, so limited time events, whatever. Movies that are coming back, hell, like for example, right in the theaters near us, she's sad about it, and I kind of wanted to see it, but I'm not too sad because I could just watch it at home. But they re-released the Revenge of the Sith movie in theaters for a couple days. I think 3, maybe 5 days, maybe a week. For the, was it 10-year anniversary? 20th year anniversary. Damn, it's been that long. And we didn't get to see it. It was unfortunate. But we saw a lot of people when we were going during those days to see other movies dress up as like Anakin or like the Star Wars characters from that movie. And we were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Those tickets, if I was to just buy them without a membership, they're cheap, right? Because they're old movies. They were $5 for 2 tickets. It's not a lot, right? Well, because we have the membership, they would have been $2 for 2 tickets. She's looking at me so mad and sad at the same time because she still wanted to go.
Hey, how's it going?
It would have been $2. So we still would have gotten cheaper tickets. I know many people are like, oh, $5 isn't a lot to begin with. It's not, but I'd rather pay $2 for them tickets than $5. Like, even if I had the money, even if I have $1 million in my bank account, I would always still go the cheapest option I can. If I still want the product and I have no other choice, whether it's a game, a movie ticket, or anything, and I have no other choice but to still shell out that money, I will. But if I can get it cheaper and it's still in the condition I want it and it's still good, I'm gonna get it cheaper because shit, you know I'm gonna get my money's worth, even if it is paying the full price. But if I can get it cheaper, I'm gonna try. So, yeah, they would have been $2 for 2 tickets. We would have paid $1 a ticket, and we would have seen it. So, you still get discounts with the membership. So, I highly recommend the membership if it's available in your state. And if not, I do apologize. I don't know what else to say. But it's totally worth your money. You save a lot on food, tickets, and it's ultimately a good night out. So I don't really see where you can go wrong with that. But yeah, so those were the reviews for The Accountant 2 and Until Dawn. Recap on the score we gave it. The Accountant 1, the first one I loved so much. Even though it was really slow, I gave it an 8.5. The second one, I gave a 9.5 because I loved it more than the first. And for me, Until Dawn, I gave it a 7.5. It's not bad, but it is a fun time, and the gore and stuff is really good in there, so I do recommend it. And the way they told the story was like it's a prequel to the game, so I do recommend it. For my fiance, she gave the first. What did you give the first account? The first movie. What did you give it? Did you say it was like a 7.5? Yeah, she gave it a 7.5. The second one was an 8 or 8.5. 8 or 8.5, and Until Dawn, she gave it a 6. Right? 6, right? Yeah. So there's the different polar opposites for you. She now bear in mind, don't just take her 6 as like it was a bad movie. She doesn't like horror to begin with. So like a lot of the gory deaths, she was in my shoulder. She was like, "Is it done? What happened?" Because she does not like horror, which I understand, and I actually respect that she was able to make it through the movie and actually look at some of the movie, because I did catch her looking at some of it. So it wasn't too bad to the point where she felt like she couldn't watch it completely, but she watched it when she could, and I like that, and I respect her for it. So, but we did have a good time. We liked both movies. I'm gonna have to melee some of these because they're not dying how I want them to. But yeah, so those are our ratings for that. I say stay tuned. Friday. Yeah, Friday. Stay tuned Friday for a review on Thunderbolts. We're gonna see it Thursday night. Our showing is for 5:30, and it is the fan event. So it's not just the early opening; it's the fan event, which comes with a collectible and some nice little goodies. I think we get a free popcorn and drink too. So that's nice. So stay tuned on Friday for that, because I'm not coming back at 11 p.m. to talk about that movie. My mind is not going to be in the right place. Although I might not even sleep because I'm so hyped at the movie. Because all the early reviews I've been seeing that are non-spoiler, people are loving this thing. It has like a 94 right now rating overall. People are saying it's the best since Endgame. And I'm super excited because I actually don't think the last good MCU movie was Endgame. I like Black Widow. I know a lot of people didn't, and they're like, it was a little too late. I don't care. I still liked it. I don't care if you think it was a little too late. It should have happened sooner. I liked it. It wasn't amazing, and it was telling an older story, yeah, but I still loved it, so I'm not going to give it a bad rating because I think it came out a little too late, and she died in Endgame, so her movie doesn't matter. I don't agree with those takes, by the way. But I liked it. So I don't think it was the last good movie since Endgame. However, there were a lot of bad movies and TV shows after Endgame, so I can see why people are now super excited that this is good. Granted, I haven't seen it, so maybe I will think it's bad. Who knows? I highly doubt it, because every trailer I've seen of this movie looks good. And I wish I could say the same thing for Fantastic Four, but I'm going to be honest, anyone who's excited for Fantastic Four, then you obviously have not seen any of the older ones, because those look way better than this ever does. This one looks stupid. I'm sorry, there's so many things that I have problems with in the Fantastic Four movie with just the trailers. That movie looks like it's going to be bad. I'm going to see it anyways because I've seen every Marvel movie, even the bad ones, and every Marvel TV show, even the bad ones. And I collect them all on DVD and disc because I have the collection, even the bad ones. But I'm going to be honest, if it's bad. And I'm sorry, Fantastic Four looks bad, and the last good one we're going to get looks like Thunderbolts. I liked Captain America. I know the criticisms that people had with it. I know why people didn't like it. I know why people thought it could have been a little bit better. I get that. But I think considering all the other bad ones we've had since Captain America, it's a pretty good movie. Do I think it still could have been better at some points? Yes. Do I think it's bad? No, I do not. So anyone who was saying it was bad, I disagree with that. Do I think every other Captain America movie is better than it? Yes. Even Civil War, not Civil War, even the first Captain America. But it's not bad. It's just, I feel like everyone compares it because Steve Evans was Chris Evans, Steve Evans, I was going to say Steve Roger, but I said his fake character first name and his real actor last name, which just didn't work well. I think people look at Chris Evans, I almost did it again, in such a high regard that they believe no one else can do better. And even if they do good, they're still not good because they're not Chris Evans. And again, I'm gonna be honest, because that's what I am. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I built this off of being honest. I'm an honest person. If it's good, I'm gonna tell you it's good. If it's bad, I'm gonna be honest and say it's bad. I don't agree with that take. I don't think it's fair to compare him to Chris Evans. Yes, he's still Captain America like Chris Evans was, but Chris Evans fought against Thanos. He took on his best friend. He lost his memory. He lost the love of his life. You can't compare Anthony Mackie's Falcon or new Captain America to Chris Evans. You can't. So, of course, to many people, he's not going to be a good Captain America, or he's not going to be the Captain America, because, unfortunately, he never will be. He will never be as good as Chris Evans. I know, but he can be good. He can be a good Captain America, but he won't be the best, and he will not be the Captain America. But he can still be good, and you can still humble yourselves and admit that he was good. And people just can't. People won't. And I don't get that. It's stupid. It's bias. It's favoritism, and I don't like it. But I'm not gonna be that. If it was bad, I would have been honest and said, yes, it is bad. It is not bad. It is a good movie. Madam Web is a bad movie. Madam Web is a shit movie. Captain America is not. Because I saw a couple of reviews when that movie came out, people comparing it to Madam Web. I'm like, there's no comparison. This movie is way better than that movie. Why would you compare a shit movie to something that is actually really good and I had a good time with? And a lot of people are actually saying they did. The only ones that are saying they didn't were the minorities that just want to say it's not Chris Evans and he's not Captain America. And it should have been Bucky. Okay, but it wasn't. And funny enough, one thing I always go back to is the real fans and the fake fans. Because I feel like the people that don't enjoy some of these movies are the fake fans. Because in the movies, in the comics, after Bucky was given the shield, who was Captain America after Bucky? It was Anthony Mackie, Falcon. It's a real comic story. So you can't hate the story because it's real, it's canon. So, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, in the comics, after Bucky, it's Falcon. And I know some people say, oh, I know it's Falcon after Bucky, but, like, why'd they have to skip over Bucky and make Falcon the Captain America first? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the creators. That's just what they went with. And it's not like it's bad. It's still pretty good. You just don't want to accept it for what it is because you're constantly comparing it to Chris Evans. And that's your fault. That's your fault why you don't like it, because you're comparing it to something that cannot be comparable. Even Bucky, if somebody was to compare Bucky and Bucky had gotten the shield for Captain America, he's still not going to be as good as Chris Evans because he won't. He wasn't the OG. He will never compare. So I'm using Bucky because some people were trying to say that, oh, if it was Bucky, he would have been just as good as Chris Evans. No, he wouldn't have, because he's not Chris Evans. He's Bucky. He's Sebastian Stan. He's not Chris Evans, and he wasn't the original. So someone will always have a problem with it, even if they love that character, because he wasn't the original. You see what I'm saying? So there's bias involved for sure, and then there's the fake fans that don't do their research, so they don't know shit about the story. Because, yes, even in the MCU, there are some stuff that aren't in the comics that they do, yes. But unfortunately, I don't hate to admit it. You just don't want to accept it. That was in the comics. After Bucky retires, Falcon is the one that becomes the Captain America. They just this time in the movies, they didn't want to make Bucky it, and they wanted to skip him and make Falcon it. That's the only thing that's different. Because in the comics, he still ends up as Captain America eventually. Not immediately after, but eventually. So I don't know what the problem was. And then another problem I saw with the movie that people complained about was, oh, he didn't beat Hulk. Not even fucking Chris Evans could beat the Hulk. And this is the Red Hulk, which is supposed to be stronger, right? Of course he wasn't going to beat him. He's not Chris Evans. He doesn't have a serum. He's got a robot freaking suit. And also, the real fans know that a World War Hulk movie is coming eventually, too. And we also know that we wouldn't want Hulk to be in a movie and die immediately. Like, it's huge. We want to see Red Hulk versus Real Hulk. The fans knew before the movie came out. We could have told you that he wasn't going to be beat or die in that movie. We could have told you. Because we knew it wasn't going to happen. You don't bring someone huge in, like Red Hulk, and kill him off in the first movie he airs in. Especially without fighting the original Hulk. It was done? Are they dry? Okay, thank you. So, again, that take, not liking it because he didn't die, I was just like, bro, he was never going to die. So, unfortunately, that take is not valid, because if you thought that was going to happen, well, then you set yourself up for disappointment, because it was not going to happen. I don't know why you thought that, but you did. And you set yourself up for disappointment because it was not going to happen. So, again, it's people being biased because they prefer Chris Evans, which I do too, but that doesn't mean that Mackie is bad just because he's not Chris Evans. No, he did a pretty good Captain America. Was it as good as Chris Evans' Captain America? No. Do I like him more than Captain America? Like the OG Captain America? No. But do I still think, as an actor and as the Falcon that is becoming his own Captain America, which they show in the trailer, you'll never be Steve, and he agrees. He's like, I'm just going to try to be me. No. Which he does, and he does it well. So, I agree that he did it good for what he was trying to do. But I still prefer the old ones better, but it's still a good movie. It's not bad. So, I don't like the trashy takes of biasism or people not knowing the actual story that's trying to be told. And this is the only thing I think they're gonna do different every once in a while. For example, the Thunderbolts. Obviously, the comics are actually called the Thunderbolts. They're a different team of people, but they do name themselves the Thunderbolts. Well, what is that little thing called again, babe? I know I've asked you like 3 times. The thing at the end of the Thunderbolts name, what is it called? The asterisk, right? Everyone of the fans, the comic book fans that I follow on YouTube and stuff, they have been speculating what the asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts means. What its significance towards the movie and its importance it has. We've been speculating what it is, and we haven't been able to figure it out, but I just thought, because I know Kevin Feige and the head of Marvel people and stuff, I know they like to switch a couple things every once in a while that aren't like the original comics and do things a little bit different in their own way with their own touch, right? So what I think, after seeing the last final trailer, which was like a month or 2 ago, I think it was a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, when they released it and then tickets went online, what I think the asterisk means, and I knew that was going to happen because I felt that's crazy. What I think it means is that isn't going to be what their team is. Towards the end of the movie, they're not going to call themselves the Thunderbolts, but they'll announce what their new name is. The asterisk will go away, and it'll be that name. And those will be the people going into Avengers Doomsday, which, if you don't know, the cast for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, all of the people in those movies, except for the side characters like, not Valeria, what's her name? Valentina, which is in Thunderbolts. She's kind of making them go out and hunt down the bad guy. I don't want to spoil anything, because like we already know, the fans know, right? She's kind of like heading them as like the Samuel Jackson, I forgot his character name. Too many. Nick Fury, right? She's like the Nick Fury for the Thunderbolts. Valentina, which was also at the end of Black Widow, so you know who she is, and she was also in the show WandaVision, and I think she was also in Agatha all along. So we know who she is. We just don't know why she's there. But anyways, besides her, all the Thunderbolts characters, Yelena, Red Guardian, all of them, as well as everyone in the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, The Thing, and obviously the Human Torch, we know that they're going to be in Avengers Doomsday. leaks have been going around that they're all going to have huge parts, especially Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four, which makes sense if you know the comics, right? I'm not going to go into the deep lore of Doomsday yet without watching the movie, but I will give my speculations on what I think is going to happen in that movie later on. Not just with the leaks going around, but the actual comics. I'll do that at a later date, especially after seeing Thunderbolts. I'll give you more info on what I think is going to happen. So, we know they're going to be in there. We don't know how. Hell, we don't even know if they're going to be called the Thunderbolts. But my theory is they're not. The asterisk is there because that's not the final official name they're going to go with. And then at the end of the movie, they're going to come up with their official team name, and the asterisk will be gone. That is my theory. I could be wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen. So, what a journey that movie is going to be. But I've been hearing nothing but good stuff, and I mean, there's already people that have seen it early, and they said they've seen it like 3 times, and they're loving it more and more each time they see it. I could not be more hyped for a Marvel movie that I've been I haven't been this hyped in a while since what was it, Deadpool and Wolverine, and that game deserved its hype and was it was way more better than I thought it was going to be. So I was super excited for that. And this one is getting me in those hypes again. So, super excited.
Fuck! Just leave it. Hey, I'm just not hunting creeps, Boozer.
But yeah, so we're going to see that on Thursday. So expect the review for that on Friday. There will be no streams Thursday. I'll try to do one if we can squeeze it in before I leave, because we're gonna be a little busy Thursday. But if I can squeeze in like an hour, maybe a 2-hour stream before I leave, then I'll try to get it done. We'll see. If not, then expect it Friday. There's gonna be 2 videos Friday, and then obviously my review. So expect that. The wolf finally freaking got me. Are you freaking kidding me? And there's a freaker nearby. 2. I see 3. Jesus freaking Christ. I have to get on my bike and I have to run. Yeah, I'm gonna lose the helicopter. Where's my bike? I'm gonna lose the helicopter because I'm fighting these freaking freakers. But yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna grab my bike and go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Come on, come on, come on. Hit that NOS. It's not a lot, but I might be able to catch up a little bit so I don't run out. I can't believe they fast forward me to nighttime. I hate this. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Tomorrow will be one video as well, but tomorrow's video will be Berserker. I like to switch off. We're going to start switching off until we finish one of these. Friday will be one of Berserker and one of Days Gone, and then Saturday will be one of Days Gone, since on Thursday, if we do Thursday, since on Wednesday was Berserker. Now, that's if we don't do one on Thursday. If we do one on Thursday, then it won't be Berserker, it'll be Days Gone. We'll see. But just stay tuned for more content. Stay tuned for that review on Friday. And what else? I think the next movie we're going to see, it probably won't be the 9th. It'll probably be the week after. We want to see Shadow Force. We've seen trailers for that, and that looks good. Thursday, we're going to be busy. What is Thursday, actually? Oh, she works the 8th on Thursday, so we can't see it. And the 9th, we're going out again with her family, so we won't be able to see it then. So we won't see it till next week because she works Saturday as well. So yeah, unfortunately, we can't see it opening. But we do want to see it, so I don't know if you want to see that, then like our review for that, then come check it out. We weren't originally going to see it. We're going to wait, but since we have our passes, we're like, we might as well. The week after, though, I think is the 19th or 17th. There's a big movie. I don't remember what. And then the week after is Stitch and Mission Impossible. And then the week after, which I'm really excited for, which is May 30th, is the Karate Kid Legends movie. I have all the Karate Kid movies, even the Julie one. Oh, they're calling me. Hold on one second, guys.
crank isn't working.
Oh, it's working. With this little shit ripped toward your head off right now.
Come on, Doc, hurry up.
Calm the hell down.
They're coming.
Give me a minute. What are you doing?
We're out. Let's go.
Abort mission. Abort.
Go.
Sorry, my roommates were talking to me. Yeah, just give me up and work home. It's fine. Or, if he wants to, give me one of the Sundays. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. And then, like I said, I have all the Karate Kid movies. I have all the seasons of Cobra Kai, except season 6 because it's not out on DVD yet. But I will get it. I absolutely love it. I love that show, and I love how they did an homage to the movies. But I just like martial arts in general. But this show holds a deep place in my heart because of me growing up with the movies. Of course. But the show does a really good job at paying homage to the movies, which is what I ultimately loved about the show. But also, just because I do martial arts myself. So I've done 6 martial arts throughout my life. 2 out in Japan, and they're only used for serious situations like a gun to my head. So I'm very familiar with the martial arts, and I love seeing actors who haven't done martial arts try to learn it and do a movie off of it, or a TV show, or even famous martial artists do the best they can in movies or TV shows. I always love seeing that. Like, my favorite martial art, like actor or real, he's an actor in movies, but he's an actual real martial artist, is Jackie Chan. He will always hold a place in my heart. My mom's is Bruce Lee. Of course it's Bruce Lee, but I like Bruce Lee. I just don't like him as much as Jackie Chan. And funny enough, he learned a lot of his martial arts from Bruce Lee. So if you like Bruce Lee, I don't know why you don't like Jackie Chan, because Jackie Chan learned a lot from Bruce Lee. And because he's a special type of martial artist where he does martial arts, yes, but he also uses his environmental area as a weapon as well. Like, that is his strength. If there's a broom, he'll use that as a fucking bow staff. If there is a stick, he'll use it as something to poke someone's eye out. Like, he's so silly with it, and he does it so well that it is his own thing. It's his own design, and he did it first, and made it huge with it, and that's why he's my favorite. And I have every movie from Jackie Chan as well. I absolutely love him. And I like Jet Li as well. He's probably my number 3. I think it goes Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and then Jet Li, but still, he's up there. They're pretty good. Those are my like three favorites.
I don't know. I'm just.
So yeah, I martial arts movies always hold a place in my heart. That's why I liked Monkey Man last year. That was really good. That's why I like John Wick, because it's gun fu, which is kung fu with guns. I can't go wrong with that. Okay, can't go wrong with it. You know, it's a fun time. So
You're goddamn right.
ultimately,
I'm gonna check in later. Deacon out.
of course, I'm excited for that movie. And I hope it does well so we get a sequel. But also, one reason I'm really excited for that movie, which I learned from a Cobra Kai Karate Kid fan, YouTuber on YouTube. So shout out to him, Cobra Kai Nation. Ralph, the actor that plays the Karate Kid in that movie, his name is Ben Wong. He follows everyone who's in productions with that movie on Instagram or Twitter, or I don't remember which one, X. And that's all he follows, because it's the whole movie crew, right? Well, he follows one guy that hasn't been announced for the movie, but is part of that world, the Karate Kid universe. And people are speculating he follows him because he's in that movie some way, whether it's a post-credit scene or he's in it for 10 minutes, but he's in there. And that's, I don't know how to say his name, but something Marduello. It's Sholo. It's basically Miguel from Cobra Kai. He follows that actor. And he's not in the movie. We haven't seen trailers or anyone saying anything. But everyone else besides Sholo that he follows is in the movie. So people are, especially the fans, have been speculating that Sholo is in the movie in some way, whether it's in a 10-minute scene or he comes to help Ben Ben's character learns some Cobra Kai, or
That is great.
he's in the post-credit
Great.
scene, and it leads into a second movie, and he's going to be there in the second
really sorry.
movie.
I don't
I
know
mean,
what
it's called
Belknap,
Karate Kid Legends for a reason.
Belknap,
How was it Legends? Just because
Belknap,
Jackie
that's
Chan
the
and
one.
Ralph Macchio in there? I don't think that's the only reason why.
I'm sorry.
Especially because they wanted to finish Cobra Kai before the movie.
Well,
Not just to
thanks
not
anyway.
conflict, but
Hey.
because there was a meaning behind it. I feel like that's why. So, I'm definitely excited for this movie. I think that's my most favorite movie I'm excited for in May. Yes, I want
Could
to
you
see
use a
Lilo
ride?
and Stitch. I'm excited
Yes,
for that.
I
I'm
could.
excited for Thunderbolts, and I'm excited for
I'm Sarah.
Deacon.
Oh.
Mission Impossible, and yes,
Sorry about
even
the
Shadow
mess.
Force. But man, if it's Karate Kid or Cobra Kai versus anything, those are gonna win.
Leg over.
Martial arts is a very big place in my heart. Always will be, just like gaming. So,
Ready.
in that area, I'm definitely biased. So, I hope that movie lives up to my expectations. But yeah, so
Thank you so
those are
much.
what we're gonna see in
No
May.
problem.
And then in May,
Just-
gaming is
there are
kind
no
of
bars out here,
dead.
so-
It's just Lost Soul
Sure
Aside
there
and
is. There's
Doom the
place
Dark
called
Ages.
Crazy Willie's
However,
up the
next
road.
week you
There's,
can expect me
No, I'm at
to
cell phone reception.
play Doom
I know
Eternal.
what you meant.
Starting next week, we will start Doom Eternal.
Anyway.
So what's a
And
nice girl like
I
you doing
think
in a place
that's
like
coming
this?
up pretty quick. I think we're about to be on Wednesday tomorrow. Yes, we are. So starting next week, we'll do Doom Eternal. And then, because the following
Thanks. Had no
Monday,
idea what research
Doom
was.
the Dark Ages comes out on the 12th. So
Plants.
we'll see how that goes.
Plants.
Yeah. Hey, look out!
Asshole!
Oh my god.
Are you okay?
I'm just... Oh, Lordy, that was close.
Hey. You sure you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just... Oh my god. Hey. I've got cell phone reception. Hey. Yeah, I'm fine. I just... The car you gave me, it's a real piece of shit. I need a tow. I'm on, I don't know, I don't know where I am.
Road 42.
Road 42? Yeah, I'm about a mile up. Okay, I'll see you when you get here.
Come on, I'll take you back to your car. We can wait for the tow truck.
I don't know.
Well, all right. I'm sure when those boys come back, they'd be happy to give you a ride, so...
Okay, alright. Alright, just give me a second.
They'll be any minute now.
Alright, screw it, let's go. Just drive a little careful this time, okay? You weren't really lost, were you?
Well, that all depends on who you ask. My ex would say I've been lost for years.
Well, you certainly know your way around here.
You're not from around here.
No, I'm from Seattle. The company that I work for, they opened this lab here, so here I came to the middle of nowhere.
Research plants.
That's right, I already told you I forgot. Yeah, so the company that I work for, they do work for this bioengineering firm, and some of the plants that I look at are pretty rare, and they just happen to grow here.
That has got to be the best thing I've ever heard. Oh, what the hell?
Clete, we got company.
All right, gentlemen.
Come on, go!
I know where you're at. Don't just stand there.
Smart now, huh?
Out here. That's
Big bad biker, huh? Yeah! Yes, hit him again!
How you like that, Mike,
Lovely,
boy?
do it, come on, hit him!
Not so tough now,
Him.
You don't learn, do you,
Watch
Mike?
us all day. Oh, yes! Yes!
Oh, I'll teach him. I'll teach him good. Yeah, you like that? How
Come
about
on.
that? Oh, shit!
Yeah, I'm out.
Hold on, wait, hold on! Roll, goddammit! Roll!
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. No. Oh, my God.
Hey.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I don't even know. I just was looking in your bag and
No,
I
it's all right.
saw that and I...
Oh.
Oh, my God, I could have killed somebody.
Well,
Oh, shit.
yeah, but you gotta kind of aim it at them first.
See, I've never done anything like that before.
Hey, it's okay.
I
They're
saw it
gone,
in
they're
your
gone.
bag and I tried to call
You
the
did
police,
good.
but there were,
You know what
there
we're
were
gonna
no
do?
bars,
We're
there was
gonna
no
do?
reception.
I'm gonna wait right here until your guy comes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've never done anything like that.
Huh. Could have fooled me.
Yeah?
Tucker. Hot Springs Camp. You there? I'm gonna need more info on that survivor Larson spotted in Marion Forks.
Deacon, I already told you everything I know. Young, a woman. Wait. You mentioned Huckle Jeans. That old pancake house by the East Bridge.
Lumberjack. Big stack of pancakes. Yeah, I know the one. Okay, I'll start there.
You do that. And remember, bring her to me. A group of drifters came through the other day, traded us a few guns. Maybe something you could use.
Keep that in mind. Beacon out. Top off the tank. Fuel. Oh, here we go. Good. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Come back soon.